Today we're reviewing BMW M4 Competition xDrive. Hi, I'm Dave. I run encyCARpedia, and this is the car we're reviewing. Now, there are no actual xDrive emblems on the outside, and initially I was wondering if I'd been scammed. But it does say xDrive in the door jambs, and you can feel it through the steering wheel. In fact, it says xDrive. Difference being more rear biased, and you can even turn the front off. Plus the rear is an active rear differential. So this review is a little delayed because I had to polish the car. But this was a starting point. I'll put a photo up. And this is the end point. As you can see from the photo, it was absolute dog turd. I'd actually prefer if it was covered in dog turds. It would have been easier and quicker, to be honest. But I think it's come out quite well. And it's so smooth. I love freshly polished paint. encyCARpedia is all about the tech specs. So just off the top of my head, this car has a top speed of 155 miles an hour, does 0 to 62 in 3.5 seconds. Power is 503 brake horsepower, which equates to 510 horsepower. But in UK we have brake horsepower. The weight is 1,775 kilograms, which is quite heavy. 283 brake horsepower per tonne, that's quite impressive. Has 479 pounds-feet of torque, not foot-pounds, okay, pounds-feet. An under-square engine, so it prefers low-down torque versus high RPM. Over square, they like high RPM. Has McPherson struts, multi-link rears. Now let's check out the engine. This is the S58 engine, and just like the S55 from the previous gen, it's made of plastic. I imagine it's some durable German plastic, but yeah, it's pretty tightly packed in. I do not want to work on that, to be honest. Now, we can't stand around the front of this car without addressing the elephant in the room. This huge front grille. Now, I was with everyone else when the 4 Series, this latest Gen 4 Series was first released, in that I thought it looked hideous. And I still do, except with the M cars. With the wider arches, the aggressive bonnet, I think the tool grille, is that what I called it? I think it looks great. It's a really cool looking car, I think. Now, if we move round the side, you get these huge front brake calipers. I'm not entirely sure it's necessary for them to be this big, but they look really cool. So yes, it is necessary for them to be this big. You also get this extended side skirt, which you have to be careful you don't kick getting in and out. You don't want to damage that. And then moving around the back, you get 20-inch wheels versus 19-inch wheels up the front. And then you get quad exhausts, which sound pretty good, and we'll hear them later. And you also get this extremely effective diffuser straight from the wind tunnel. You also get a carbon fibre roof as standard, and a little spider. That comes with the car too. So inside this car, it's really posh. This one is optioned with extended leather, which is really soft to touch. It also has carbon fibre, and on the steering wheel as well. It's quite cool. Now, you can option this car with carbon bucket seats, but I'm not sure that's necessary in this sort of car. It's not an out-and-out sports car. I love bucket seats, but this is not a bucket seat type of car, I don't think. Now let's see how it sounds. Let's go for a drive. So I've been driving this car for about 3 weeks now, and just like the F87 M2 Competition from the last video, this is not a full-on sports car, but it is a very comfortable, capable, sporty car. On the limits, it tends to understeer, on a private road of course, and it even understeers on very tight corners when you're going fairly slow, and you wouldn't expect any car to understeer, but you can feel the front wheels scrubbing, and to get rid of that you just accelerate and the front wheels drag the front of the car around. So that's obviously the xDrive system kicking in, which is quite cool. But talking about comfort levels, if you want a more raw experience, the F87 M2 is far more raw. That's not to say it's raw at all. This is just far more refined. It doesn't give you the feel and the feedback of a proper sports car, but it's very nice. It really is a nice car. It's just, if you want a sports car, this is not it. And the rear rebound is too quick. It needs to be stiffened up, because if you're going over a hump at about 80 miles an hour, again on a private country road, then the rear of the car just gets launched up. And if it wasn't for the lap belt, then I'd come out the seats. Again, this is a private country road I'm talking about, not a public road. And of course, if you stiffened the rear rebound, that would correct, in part, the front understeer. Far more complicated than that, but it would have some effect on the understeer. So this xDrive system is very impressive. I drive it in 4-wheel drive Sport Plus mode, which is primarily rear-wheel drive, but then the front wheels kick in when you need them. So pulling out of side roads onto main roads into high-speed traffic is incredible. The amount of grip you have, which is mainly what I wanted 4-wheel drive for, to be honest, because you don't have the inside wheel spinning up like you have a front-wheel drive, and you don't have to manage oversteer like you do with rear-wheel drive. It's just incredible. You can just nip out and boom, you're doing enough speed. Something I haven't done yet, which will make full use of this xDrive system, is launch it. So we're on a private road right now. Let's try it out. Apparently you just brake, accelerate. Flipping heck. It's quite fast. It's pretty good actually. Yeah, I wouldn't want to do that with rear-wheel drive, but four-wheel drive, incredible. That's fast. This gearbox is very good, by the way. I prefer it to the MDCT. However, when pulling out, there's a very slight delay with the throttle, which is really annoying. But at low speed creeping, let's say you're parking, it's extremely good, which is something the MDCT was not good at. The amount of throttle you needed to make the clutches bite, and then the car would lurch and you'd have to jam on the brakes and then start all over again, that was really annoying. But this car, the gearbox at least, as an automatic gearbox, manual's obviously much better because you have more control. But if you have to have an automatic, a proper automatic is better than a DCT, in my opinion. So let's check out the practicality. Under this door, you have 2 cup holders with little fingers to hold the bottle or cup in place. So you can fit something larger than that if you want. You've also got a wireless charger for your phone, but I don't know if the wireless aspect is optional, but there's at least space for a phone. You also get USB-A and a 12-volt outlet. And under this little door, have a cubby hole, not big enough for this bottle, but you do get a USB-C. Then you've also got door bins, which are quite large, I think. Some door bins are tiny in some cars, but these ones are pretty good. Then in the back, I imagine I can fit, because it's the same size as 3 Series, this car. But let's find out for sure. 10 years later. So, yeah, it's very comfortable, but I do have reduced headroom because it's a coupe. So if you want people to sit in the back often, get the 3 Series. The only benefit of a 4 Series is that it's coupe shape, and some people prefer the coupe shape, you know, it looks quite cool. Personally, I actually quite like the look of the 3 Series M3 G80. Something of note about this car is that it has adaptive laser lights, and at night time I don't get flashed by people, which means they actually work, which is good, because I get blinded a lot by people who rely on these adaptive lights. So some cars obviously don't work very well, but these ones do, so that's good. So in conclusion, this is a great everyday performance car. You can take the family out in it on a Saturday and then take yourself out in it on a Sunday morning, obeying all the laws. And this one is a coupe, obviously, but it's very similar to the M3. And now that they have xDrive, four-wheel drive system, I think they've kind of taken over from the Imprezas and the Evos of the past. Obviously they're much heavier, but they've sort of taken over that segment. You also have the all-wheel drive hatchbacks, which we'll hopefully get in and be able to test one of them at some point. But it would be nice to compare this car to a GC8 Impreza, say a special edition Series McRae Impreza. If only we had access to one. That'll be the next video. Like and subscribe. Comment down below what you think. I appreciate the comments from last video. Thank you very much. Smash the like button. Don't just like it. Smash. And obliterate the subscribe button. And I hope you look forward to the next video whilst I wait behind the cyclist. So you wait for the video, I'll wait behind the cyclist, and in the meantime, subscribe and share. Thank you very much for watching. Ooh, TVR. Thanks for watching. Peace.